Item number 5, miscellaneous. We have Darren Jacobs and Alan Munsterman from Snyder and Associates who would like to visit with us this evening. And I put in front of you an agenda that they would like to visit about. Refreshing the conversation, we put the plan on hold for further discussion, and they would like to visit with us this evening. They came to my office earlier this afternoon and showed a great interest in looking at the plan again and seeing if there's something that they can do to work better with us. I think I would, if I stated that correctly, gentlemen. So I give you the floor.
Okay. I'm Al Munsterman with Snyder and Associates. You met Darren before. I head up the water and wastewater group in our Ankeny office. And in our discussions with the mayor, we understand we're not on the same wavelength. Quite honestly, some changes have taken place at the city, some changes have taken place in our office also. We're here to request that we can work with you folks, go back with part of the facility planning. It involved the council and various meetings and discussions and options were reviewed. What we want to do is take a step back and go through that process again with you folks. We've suggested working with your council committee, the wastewater committee, in detail on various options that we can explore, options we've already explored. We have all the background information I think that we need. We just need to look through that again and make sure we're all can head in the same wavelength. Our desires are yours. We work for you, not independently of you. Our desire is to produce a project that you folks can live with, that you can afford, that'll solve the problem with DNR, that'll keep us moving forward. That's our desire. We're, quite honestly, not on the same wavelength and hope to get back on the same wavelength.
I might interject that in our conversation this afternoon, I explained to them that we had a great concern about the cost of the plant that was being discussed, and that we were looking more for a plan to make our wastewater treatment plant usable, to meet DNR specifications, retrofitted, as you might say, for the next 20 years with a lesser amount of money, so that we might be able to be collecting money over those 20 years to do whatever upgrades or whatever we had to do in the future, and that we were very concerned about the levy that or the cost we'd have to charge in order to complete the plan that they have shown us.
I thought that was taken into consideration when you gave us that proposal.
It was, quite honestly, and I can't speak for Jim Reynolds. He was our primary author of the plan. And I believe he worked with the council, and together they came up with the various options and alternatives, and believe they reached those discussions together. It's not an independent thing. It's not something we just come up with the idea by ourselves. We formulate the technical portion of it, but I believe there was opportunity for the council to help with the direction and selection of alternates and how far we go with the project.
So when we met a couple weeks ago, I asked that question about there's any alternatives, and that time you said no.
That's correct.
I didn't. If I did express that, I didn't mean to be so expressly stoned that there is no other alternative. Because, like I said at the last council meeting, there's about 100 ways to get to where we got to go. And through the process, of getting those kind of narrowed down, we had come to really the three that were in the report. And there's a lot of offshoots from each of those. There's a lot of options from each of those. And there's 100 more. And working with the previous council and the operators and that, they kind of narrowed it down to those three. Does that mean that's the only answer? No. And when I went home from the last meeting, I said, Al, these folks are they're really uncomfortable with what's out there, and I really think that we got to rethink this. And we went home and kind of dug through files and bounced ideas off of each other, trying to figure out how better to do this. The whatever was narrowed down before for whatever reason it was narrowed down, and I got to say, I wasn't that involved in it at that point, you know, and how it got to where it was. It's not the only answer. And if I made it sound like that, I shouldn't have. There are lots of ways to get there. Do I believe of those three options, that's the one that lasts the longest, gets you where you got to go? And it does so looking way down the road? Yeah, probably. Does that mean it's the only answer? No, it's not. And the more Al and I talk, I said, geez, Al, you know, they're really uncomfortable with this, and we really need to step back, and we really need to go through this again, because I think that a lot of the folks that were involved are not there anymore, or maybe we need to go through and get everybody on board and make sure there's something you can afford. And that's genuine. We really understand. I'm from a very small area, and you know, small towns, and I understand it's a lot of money and a lot of way. I have no idea really how they got to where they got, but it's not the only way to get there. And there's no reason we can't go back and do it. And we'd even offer this. If we can do this, we'll do it on our time. We can see you're not comfortable. Let's get you something that will work. We've got the background information. There's no reason we can't go back through it and revisit it and come up with something else, something that, you know, you can live with. And that really is why we're here. This is probably one of the largest investments the city of Sac City will make in a long, long time.
And that's why we want to be comfortable with it.
There you are. And we want you to be comfortable with it. And when I left last time, I could tell you we're not. And I've talked with the mayor a few times, and that's why I went to Al. I said, you know, we really got to rethink this. And that's why we're here. Because we really want you to know that whatever it is, we want to come up with something that works for you.
I explained to him that we all felt like we had a huge fiscal responsibility to try to do this as economically as we can, because we would be passing down increases to people that it would probably put a hardship on, and we don't want to do that.
And we do understand that. We really do.
Well, I think there's several different options we can look at. And I agree, we probably need to meet with our wastewater committee and go over some of the options maybe that we're looking at. I think we need to hit the I&I problem a little bit harder than what we're looking at initially, so we don't have to have such capacity coming into the plant, because I mean it's kind of over-designed, because it's designed to handle the I&I flow.
That's right.
So I think we need to take a look at that and, like I said, just step back and.
Well, when they asked to come and visit with us tonight, I graciously said yes. They traveled a long distance today and in inclement weather, and we appreciate that. But I did also tell them that we would be having a discussion and that I would get back to them ASAP. I won't leave them hanging out there on a limb. So you concur with that, everyone?
So what are you actually proposing to do in this? There's 7 steps here.
The biggest thing is trying to meet with your council committee and going back through the planning process. The planning process and looking at alternatives and selecting the best alternative or alternatives.
How
to
long
bring
has this
forward.
process been being worked on?
The facility plan itself, oh geez, it was almost a year, I think, almost start to finish. The basics are there, the information is there. It boils down to which options you look at and how you evaluate them and estimate the cost and determine what you can afford and what can get us DNR approval and get us going for the future. So the base work has been done. And really, the facility plan is not done unless you folks are happy with where it's going, with the recommendations involved in it. It has been submitted as is to DNR. They are in the process of reviewing it. It can be amended.